want that, and I want that, and I want this. Okay. Way. Hey, you. Terrible. So loud. That'll be fine. Okay. Now that I'm recording audio, there you go. There's your answers to your homework problems. Woot. Woot. Drew a woot.
Thank you.
How'd y'all do? What questions do we have?
Well, I got number 4, and I got 2 and 2.
2.23 what?
I got 2.230.
Well, if you're going to round to the hundredths place, though, you would stop right here. So that's where we're rounding to.
But on the second one,
Uh-huh.
I got 0.00.
Uh-huh.
And
Did you stop there? Because you can, technically. Yeah. I mean, if you follow the instructions that I gave, that's technically right. I mean, in fact, it's even technically even more right. With the constraints that I gave, that's what I get for doing things through Zoom, right? Not thinking through things very well. With the constraints that I gave, this is technically the most right answer right there with miles on it. What? Because I figured y'all might keep going because y'all were scared of that number.
I wrote 0007.
That's fine. That's fine too. Yeah.
But number 1, I got 0.
Let's see. So it should be not 88. It should be 87, right? Because you should have gotten 0.874 and then something else. And so that 7 wouldn't round up. It would stay the same. And this one would technically have a 0 on it, right? Good. Good. That's what we want to see in here. Any other questions? These are good. Are you walking on sunshine? All right, put your pants away.
That sounded bad.
Sounded silly. It was meant to sound silly.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on those?
Why do your fingers have pants? They don't need them.
My fingers do.
Okay. Let me save this.
And then my knees get scraped up.
Your joint? Your knuckle?
And then we'll do some work today.
And these are my feet and legs. Well, on the first one, I needed help with it.
Okay, we can do it real quick.
Dad helped me,
Uh-huh.
and he got it wrong.
Oh no. What happened to Dad? So let's look at it real quick. So 7 pints to gallon. So what's our first step on that first one?
7 pints. Wait, is this the first one?
Yep.
And times 1 gallon. And then
How many pints in a gallon? 8. So we put 8 down here. So now what would we do?
cross out the pints.
Cross out the pints. Sure. Now what?
Because we don't like pints, and we don't like 3 pints either. And
just kidding. Your bigger pants are the one.
Now what?
Divide 7 by 8.
Into 8, but yes. Because 8's going to, oops, what am I saying? No, 7 by 8. Yeah, you were right. You said it right. You said it completely right. True. Now what? 8 goes into 7 how many times?
8 times.
Not into 7. 0 times. We're going to float up that decimal, right? Eight goes into 70 how many times? Focus, sir. Focus.
8 times.
8 times. What's 8 times 8?
64.
64. What's 70 minus 64?
60.
6, and then, yeah, bring down the 0. So 8 goes into 60 how many times?
7 times.
7 times. What's 7 times 8? 56. What's 60 minus 56?
4.
It is 4. Bring down the 0. 8 goes into 4 how many times?
5 times.
5. Oh. Your dad didn't get it wrong. I did.
But if you're rounding to the hundredths.
We are rounding to the hundredths. That's right. So 0.88. You were right to begin with. Okay. Did we have any other questions? I didn't hear any other questions, but.
Number 3, I got 0.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. Any other questions on this homework assignment?
Why are rain mills so dull loud?
Why are rain mills so dog?
Mills.
Rain mills. I don't know. Okay. We're going to continue unit conversions, but we're going to start getting them a little bit scarier. How does that sound?
Scary.
Grand and wunderbar.
I have questions.
You have questions already?
I don't know. You're just like you describe it and then you ask us to describe it.
What? You don't make sense.
Well, it's not enough.
Tú no sabes nada. Okay, now. You see, y'all don't listen because I insult you and you just sit there like logs on books. Okay, so we're going to do unit conversions continued.
Oops. My art teacher used to call us pickle bumps. But then But then
The best pickles do have bumps, so, you know.
Well then, it was a compliment.
Continued. All right, we're going to jump in with some examples. Okay, I'm going to do example 1. And all the instructions here are going to be convert. Okay, so we're going to convert 5 miles 2 kilometers. Okay, because we didn't write a conversion directly from miles to kilometers, so we're going to have to do this in multiple steps. Are you paying close attention? Okay, we can do it. We're going to go nice and slow. Right? So our first step is the same as it's always been. We're going to write 5 miles and we're going to put it over 1. I don't know why my M kind of turned into some small mountains, but there it is. Okay. Then we're going to do times fraction bar. We got to put miles on the bottom, right? Because we are trying to get rid of miles. Now, we're trying to go to kilometers. So miles is imperial and kilometers is metric, right? We only have one conversion from from imperial to metric. What is it? Look at your chart if you need it. And I'll give you a hint. It starts with 1 inch equals something else.
1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters.
There you go. Okay, so we've got to get, in order to use that little bridge that we have there, we have to get miles turned into inches. Do we have a conversion from miles to inches? No. Okay. What do we have? What can we go from inches to? What do we have conversions for with inches? Feet. Okay. So do we have a conversion from miles to feet? Yes. So we go from miles to feet. Now, feet, surprise, spoiler alert, is not kilometers, right? So we need another times fraction bar. If we do these for homework, by the way, this particular problem right here is longer than anything I'll give you for homework. I'll try not to do any that take more than like 3 or 4 steps. Okay. When this isn't what we're trying to go to, we're actually going to do a 3rd and a 4th and maybe more fraction bars. It's going to be okay. All right. So we don't want feet, right? So we're trying to cancel feet. So feet are going to go on the bottom here. Right? We can go from feet to inches, right? We know how many inches are in a foot. Yes. Now we just remembered this one. So we don't want inches, right? So we're still not where we want to be. So we need another times fraction bar. Once right here it says kilometers. And we know we're trying to go to kilometers because that was given in the problem, right? So we got to put inches on the bottom. We're going to put centimeters on the top, right? Because that's what we know. That's from our chart. That's what we can get to. Now, we're in metric now, right? We're still trying to get to here. Do we have a centimeters to kilometers? Is that a negative, Ghost Rider? What do we have a centimeters to? Meters. So we're going to do times, whoops.
Well, technically it's meters.
What? You're kidding? We're canceling the centimeters, right? Going to meters. Now, is meters what we want? No. So what do we need another of? Times fraction bar. So what's going to go on the bottom down here? Meters. And then what's going to go on the top here? What are we trying to go to? Where are we going? Kilometers. Kilometers. All right, so now we're where we need to be. So we've written all the fraction bars we need. All right? So now we can go ahead and come back in and fill in our numbers. So we got feet and miles. What's the conversion between feet and miles? How many feet? That's true. There are 12 inches in a foot, but that's not what I asked, is it? How many feet in a mile? 5,280. You do not have to memorize those, by the way. If you need them on a test or a quiz, I will give them to you or let you use your notes. One of the two. Okay? Now, so the miles cancel, right? How many inches in a foot, Eli? You just said 12 inches in 1 foot. So that will cancel the feet, right? How many centimeters in 1 inch? 2.5-ish. 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. How many centimeters in a meter? 100 centimeters. By the way, how many years is a century, you think? 100 years. Cent is a prefix that means 100. Now, how many meters in a kilometer? In a kilometer?
1,000.
There are 1,000 of them in 1 kilometer. So the inches cancel, centimeters cancel, meters cancel, leaving us with kilometers. That sounds good. Now, we need to walk back through and do the math. So this first one right here, this first little section, are we going to multiply or divide? We are going to multiply, and how do you know that? That's true, but that's not how we know. How do we know we multiply 5,280? Because both the ones on top and bottom, and more importantly, the numbers we're doing are on the top. So we're going to do 5,280 times 5. What's 5 times 0? 0. What's 5 times 8? 40. We learned that on our homework. What's 5 times 2? 10 plus 4? 14. What's 5 times 5? Plus 1. Oop, I still wrote 25 somehow. Mistake. Okay. So we did that part. Now moving to the next part. Are we going to multiply or divide? Multiply. How do you know? Because the 12 is on the top. That's right. So we're going to multiply that times 12. Yeah, essentially, yes. This part. I mean, kind of. It's the meat of the work, so you could do it either way. So what's 2 times 0?
0.
And then 2 times 0 again is 0 again. What's 2 times 4? 8. What's 2 times 6? 12. What's 2 times 2? Plus 1. 5. So we cross this out and we put a 0 here. And then 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is still 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 6 is 6. And 1 times 2 is 2. What's 0 plus 0?
0.
What's 8 plus 0?
8.
And 2 plus 4?
6.
5 plus 6?
11.
11.
3.
All right. So we did that part. Now the next part. Are we going to multiply or divide? Multiply. We're going to multiply it times 2.54. Oops. Actually, since this is kind of long, I'm going to rewrite this one over here so I have more headroom. Because it's going to get real messy if I leave it where it is. Well, we oughtn't to. We'll make less mistakes if we keep the mess to a minimum, right? So 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. What's 4 times 8? What? No, that's 8 times 3. It is 32. 32. What's 4 times 6? That one is 24. What's 24 plus 3? 27. True facts. 4 times 1?
6.
6 plus, no, you're lying. 4 times, yeah, I know that, but you didn't answer my question now, did you? What's 4 times 1?
4.
Plus 2 is 6. What's 4 times 3? 12. Okay. So now we cross these out. We put a 0 here. Not till the answer, not till the end. On multiplying. We just count the number of decimals and move it. 5 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 0 again is 0 again, right? What's 5 times 8?
40.
Still 40. Surprise, surprise. Your dad was right. What's 5 times 6? 30. Plus 4 is 34. What's 5 times 1? Plus 3 is 8. And what's 5 times 3? 15. Let me see if this is relevant to the moment. Probably not. Nope, it's not. But you're welcome. Percentage. So we're going to cross those out, and we got to add 2 zeros, right? 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 again is 0 again. What's 2 times 8?
16.
16. 1, 6. 2 times 6 is plus 1 is 13. Yeah. What's 2 times 1? Plus 1 is 3. What's 2 times 3? 6. Okay. We're going to add these bits up. 3 zeros added together is still 0, right? 2 plus 2 zeros is still 2, and 7 plus 2 zeros is 7. So what? So what is 6 plus 4 plus 6?
16.
It is 16. So what's 1 plus 2 plus 8 plus 3? It is 14. And then 1 plus 1 plus 5 plus 3 is 10. And then 1 plus 1 plus 6 is 8. True facts. All right. How we doing? We hanging in there?
Cacophony of zeros.
Yeah, but that's nice because these are easy. We just got to remember how it's easy. Oh, you're right. You're right. Good catch. I almost made a mistake. Yep. So there's this one moved over 0 times, and this one moved over 2 times. 2 plus 0 is 2, right? So we bounce the decimal over once, twice. So the number we're actually dealing with is 804,672.
Good riddance zeros.
In case you're curious, that means that there are 804,672 centimeters in 5 miles. Now, where we were was we were moving to this one. So are we going to multiply or divide? Are we? We're going to divide because that one's on the bottom. Now, remember with powers of 10, multiplication and division are super easy, right? Because all we do is we move the decimal place that many zeros. If we're dividing, we're trying to get a smaller number, right? So we move the decimal to the left. So for that step, we'd move the decimal once and then twice to the left. Okay. So there are 8,046.72. We write our units while we're there. Meters in a mile. We're not quite done yet.
Could you just
Like done long division? Yes, but don't. Because that's a waste of your time. Learn to do it this way. Because that's you would get the same answer though if you did. So this last one, are we going to multiply or divide? Divide. So how many times are we going to move the decimal place? How many zeros are right there?
3.
There are three. So we're going to move the decimal place 1, 2, 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times. So our final answer is 5 miles equals 8.04672 kilometers. And actually, if you really want to be really technical, it is approximately equal to that. And if we wanted to round even further, if we wanted to round the nearest whole number, what would the answer be? 8. But what, girl?
But if we did all the math right, it's not
Well, and let me tell you, that's a good state. I understand why you said that, but it is approximately equal to, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there's not actually 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. There are, let's see if we can get a longer decimal. Centimeters to inches. What? Oh, because I did it backwards. That's not what I wanted to say. I was very confused. It's like, have I been teaching something wrong for 5 bazillion years? I want you to do it like with a lot of decimal places. Why are you just rounding? You're not making my point, Google.
Yeah, Google is almost all circles, so or O's and G's. So they have very little.
Inches to centimeters. Oh, the people who are viewing this outside of here can't see anything I'm doing. Hold on, let me see. What about that? None of these are just, hold on. Time out. Add a scene.
Our sanity is that's where we are.
Screen. Okay. Add a display capture. Existing display capture. Okay. Hello. Oh, because I have to click it. It's like, what are you talking about? Okay, now you can see. There you go. Why are you here? I don't want to, not you. Okay, how about we change that to a 1? It thought I meant L. Isn't it smart?
Me too.
Enter. Oh, it still is not going to run. Somebody give me a longer one. It's not exact. It's the only point I'm trying to make. Thousandths. Okay, so it's not nowhere is going to give me what I want, but this shows it to it the other way around. So it's actually non-repeating, non-ending decimal. It's not exact. It's not precise. It's going on forever. So yeah. It's still approximately equal to, even though it's more better. Okay. Blammo, blammo, blammo. Okay. What time is it? Good. Let's do another example. But this one I'm going to let you do on your own.
Will it be that long?
Maybe I will give you some that's long, but I'll just give you less problems. Because this wasn't so bad, was it?
Oh, it was awesome. Like your guidance.
Let's do example number 2.
No, you make a lot more sense in person than you do on.
You said that the other day. It still doesn't make any sense. I think it's all in your head, Mr. Tweedy. It's all in your head. Name the movie. You can't, can you? Chicken Run. Okay. Which is a great movie. Can anybody name the movie that Chicken Run is based on? Bunch of losers. Just kidding. It's based on The Great Escape, which is a great movie.
I've only seen Chicken Run like twice.
That doesn't. You still wouldn't know what it was based on. It's based on The Great Escape, which is a wonderful movie. Although it's sad in the end, but there it is. What am I doing? Let's go the other way. How about? That sounds good. Let's do 12 kilometers
12 kilometers.
to,
Is this one going to be long?
yeah. It's going to be about the same length as the last one, so it'll take up about the same amount of space. So that's whatever that looks like for you. 12 kilometers to, let's go to, actually let's do one that's shorter, but is and easier even. Let's go to millimeters. Ready, set, go. If you're watching this at home, pause the video and then come back to see the answer. If you're here, just do the work because I'm going to freeze the screen.
Why? We want to see.
Go. Write the thing, put it over 1. That's the first step. Cancel the kilometers. Kiddos, focus. This problem is actually really easy. And it's good practice for what we talked about a minute ago. Yes, ma'am?
How do you know?
You have to look at your chart and see what you have. So if you look at your chart, what all do we know that converts with kilometers? There's only 1 that we have on there with kilometers, right? Yep, there's only 1.
There's nothing on this chart.
There's not, that's true. But there is kilometers to something. What do we have kilometers to? Okay, so do kilometers to meters first. Do what? Yeah, you would use kilometers to meters, and then meters to centimeters, yes. You need 3 fraction bars. There's your hint.
Oh, that is easy. I do 1 meter and 1 centimeter.
Does something like 12 kilometers over 1
Yep.
times another fraction? That fraction going to help.
The very first, no. You need, yeah. The over 1 doesn't count in the 3. I was not counting that.
Do you put the one you want to get rid of on the bottom?
The one you want to get rid of goes on the bottom. That's, yeah, great question.
You said the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were counting the first fraction bar,
Mm-hmm. How are you feeling, girl? You feeling good?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Great.
Totally fine.
I'm just peachy.
Are you laughing at my problem or something else?
Everything.
All of the things.
All everything. Could be that. The first fraction bar would just do 1,000 times 12.
Yep. Do it by just moving the decimal place.
problem is one revelation.
This problem is one what after another?
One revelation.
One revelation after another. You could actually shortcut this problem and just add all the zeros at the beginning and be finished.
Yeah, you could. That's true. So hilarious.
Don't smash it in half, do the math. You could probably be done by already, man. Keep going. That's true, but it does tell you how many kilometers go into a meter. So go from kilometers to meters and do that first.
But I already have.
You already have 3 bottoms, is that what you said?
Fraction ball.
Good. In the second fraction bar, you'd have kilometers and meters, right? And then the third one, you'd have meters and centimeters.
I have 6 meters.
On the second one after the well.
And kilometers and
Let me finish writing this down and then I'll show you where we are. Oops. That's funny. Okay. So what am I doing? I don't need to do that because I didn't pause the recording. So there it is. Where's my buttons? Y'all see my buttons? There are my buttons. So those are the fraction bars that you would have.
Math is so funny.
What?
Math is so funny.
Math is so funny.
However, board games are the best.
Board games are the best games. Oh, word games. Word games are definitely not the best games. That's a lie. I do enjoy some word games, but no, definitely not the best. Scrabble is awful. What questions do y'all have on that one? Yeah, go ahead and finish it. It's right there. Copy it. Nope, because you're gonna do some for homework anyway. So this is just notes.
How many days are in January?
31.
Well,
What? Probably. Does this make sense? Anybody have any questions on this one? No. Okay. Let's do. Okay. I'm waiting.
better.
What number am I thinking of? Be 508? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, that is what I'm thinking of. Okay, let's do one more together, and then I'm going to give you some homework. Okay.
Wait, did we do this one last?
We may as well do this one together. I think that'll be because of time. I want to make sure y'all have enough time to copy down your homework and such. So this is going to be number 3. And we are going to convert, what did I just say? 508 millimeters to feet to liters. You can't do that. You can do millimeters of mercury to, well, that's still pressure, but yeah. Anyway, so what is my first step?
508 over 1. 508 millimeters.
508 millimeters over 1. That's a true fact. Now, what's my next step?
Fraction bar.
Times fraction bar. What units are going to go right here?
Centimeters.
Here? Here is centimeters? I don't think so.
No.
What is going to be here? Millimeters. That's what we're trying to get rid of. Now we're going to go from millimeters to what? We only have one thing with millimeters on it, right?
Centimeters.
Centimeters. Now, centimeters isn't feet. Spoiler warning. So we're going to have to cancel the centimeters. So we need another what? Times fraction bar. Because I like to get all the thing laid out first. Do it. Use one part of your brain and then a different part. It's kind of probably in between the two. It's not too bad. Centimeters to what? Inches. And then inches to feet. Feet is what we're trying to accomplish. So that looks good. Okay, so now we don't have to write any more fraction bars. So going back and filling in. How many millimeters in a centimeter?
10.
There are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. How many centimeters in an inch?
2.54 something forever.
2.54. 54. 54. Bet. How many inches in a foot? Are you sure it's not 21? All right. Now what's our next step? Divide. How do we divide by 10?
Decimal.
We move that decimal place over once, right? That's all we do. So 508 divide. What have you done? What have you done, whiteboard? 10. We move the decimal place one time, right?
Why?
Because that's how we divide by 10. And there's just 1 0, right? That's what we're talking about. With our if we were multiplying by 1,000, then we would move the decimal place. We're getting bigger, right? Because we're multiplying instead of dividing once, twice, 3 times. If we were dividing by 100, we would move the decimal place twice because there's 2 zeros. And we want a smaller number because we're dividing. And we end up with 5.08 on that one. So this one equals 50.8. Okay. So for our next part, we're going to divide by 2.54, right? So 50.8. We are dividing by 2.54. To divide decimals, what do we have to do? Do y'all remember? What are we gonna put in the house, and what are we gonna put out? Let's start with what are we gonna put outside the house. What do we have to do with this bottom one first before we can divide it? It is 2.54, but what do we got to do with it before we can divide it? Because we can't have a decimal out here. We move it, and since we moved that one, we've got to move this one too. If there's a blank space there, what number do we put right there? 0. Y'all remember this? Kind of, sort of, maybe, hopefully. Hopefully we're clearing some cobwebs. 254 divided into 5,000. Whoa. 5,080. 254 goes into 5 none times, goes into 0 none 50 none times, it goes into 508. Now, what are we going to try for 254?
2 times.
She says times 2. Let's try it. What's 4 times 2? 8. What's 5 times 2? 10. It's time to leave. We're almost done, so we'll get there. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 508. It works out beautifully, so we're going to put a 2 right here. 508. We're going to subtract, and we end up with 0. Bring down that 0. 254 goes into 0 0 times, so our answer there is 20. We have one more fraction to get through. We're going to divide that by 12. So 12 into 20. 12 goes into 20 how many times?
1 time.
1 time. 12 minus, put this here, and we get 8. Put a point, float it. 12 goes into 80 how many times?
Wait, why did I tell? Why did you decimal?
Because we had to. We're doing decimals. We're doing 20, and that's where the decimal lives. Remember? Yeah. Class isn't over yet, buddy. 12 goes into 80 how many times?
Multiple times.
What?
Multiple times.
Yeah. What's 12 times 5? 60. What's 12 times 6? 72. That sounds right to me. How about we put a 6? 72. What's 80 minus 72? 8. Oh, look, it's going to repeat. So it's going to be 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. So if we're rounding right here, are we rounding up or staying the same? Is 6 greater than or equal to 5, or is it less than 5? 6 is less than 5. You're lying.
It's more than 5.
So our final answer is... Whoa, what did I do?
Look at those 6s, man.
Our final answer is 1.67 feet. Can't have repeating because we're doing distances. That's why we round it.
I wrote a 2.
Okay, homework. I am going to give you less homework because these are going to be kind of all in the little bit longer range, like what we just saw.
So it will be about 4.
Yep. In fact, I'm going to do 3 homework problems. One that's like the first one, and the second one that's like the second one, and the third one is like the third one. Except maybe backwards. So number 1 is going to be backwards. Let's do 8 kilometers 2 miles. And then for number 2, what did we do? We went kilometers to millimeters. So let's do 2,346 millimeters to kilometers. And finally, number 3, we did feet. We did what to feet? We did millimeters to feet. That sounds good. Let's end up with something kind of largish and say 12 feet. Whoop, stop it. Stop it right now, machine.
Yeah.
2 millimeters. All right, that is your homework. Make sure you get it copied down. Did you copy it all down, sir?
Yeah.
Good. Then y'all can leave. As Biff says, you can make like a tree and get out of here.